Okay, so we've done the unboxing, we've shown you the components of the game. Now we're going to take an opportunity to actually do a gameplay to show you how everything works together.
Yep.
So each one of us gets a dice bag, or chip bag.
Chip bag, shuffle bag, whatever you want to call it.
And we'll set our box of chips to the side and build our bank.
So just like any other deck building game, you have the central area that you buy chips from, buy cards from. In this game, this is called the bank. But there's something unique about this game, which Dennis is going to show.
This game, they put characters in. So every person playing at the table is a character, and each character has their own abilities, which puts a spin on the game, which is quite nice. We actually like that aspect.
Yeah. The one thing we don't care for about the character design, we mentioned in the unboxing, we really liked the art on the box, the anime style art. But on the actual chips, we're kind of disappointed to see there's this little like pea-sized portrait of the character. We really kind of would have liked there to be a more emphasis on the actual character art on the chips.
To start the game off, each player has 6 1-gem tokens and a crash gem token, which we'll kind of talk about a little bit later, and then your character, which has 3 chips, and each chip has its own special ability for that character.
Okay. So we've already created our first hand, and we've already pre-chosen our characters.
So throw everything into the bag, shuffle.
This is definitely easier than shuffling a deck of cards.
And then you're going to pull out 5 chips.
You have to be a little mindful when you're counting out the chips. Make sure you're counting them out right. Make sure you're not going to end up pulling them all out and showing your opponent what chips you have in your hand.
Which is easy to do if you're not careful. So my character, he's a stone golem-like guy, and he has an ability called Big Rocks. I can take 1 gem, trash it into the bank. In this game, it just goes back to the pile that it originated from. And then I can take the next higher gem, and I can use it right away. So I've got 3 gems, and I can pick from anything in the bank. You always have to make a buy in the game if you have chips or not. And that's what the wounds are for. They end up taking up meaningless space in your bag.
Yep. I'm going to take this time to point out a game step that Dennis forgot to do, and that is to ante. The first step of every turn is to ante. You take a 1 gem from the bank and put it into your gem pile. This now becomes the pile of gems that add up to the game losing 10 points. If your gem pile ever hits 10 points, then it goes into end game stage, and there's a couple of things you do from there.
It's easy to forget Ante stage, so
yeah.
We'll probably see us remind each other quite often. I'm going to buy a sneak attack, which gives me an extra attack move, plus each opponent gets an extra ante. And I'm done.
Okay, and I will remember to ante. And I don't have anything particularly interesting in my hand at the moment, so I'm just going to use this guy to draw put a chip from my hand on top of my bag, so I will do that. So I put that on top of my bag. That becomes the next chip that I draw. And this allows me to draw 2 from my bag. And so that gave me an extra 1 gem. So at this point, I will buy a combine chip. That does just what it says. It lets you combine gems in your gem pile. So these, I'll go on my discard, and I draw 5 more, this being one of them. And I am out of chips in my bag, but I still need to draw 1 more, so I have to shuffle.
Okay, so I'm going to ante, and I'm going to use my crash gem to crash a gem from my gem pile to Adrian. That's what the game, in this game, what you're doing is you're trying to be the last person to get to 10 gems in your gem pile. This is one way to get rid of them, and this is the main way because you start with one of these chips. And the only way to counteract it is to either use another crash or an ability one of your characters might have, or another chip.
Yep, in this case, I don't have any chips in my hand to counteract that, so that goes in my gem pile.
The crash gem also gives you a plus $1 instead of gem, which I didn't quite understand that with the game concept. But it does give me a total of 5 to buy with. And I'm going to take a combined and an extra gem. In this game, you don't have buys. You get to buy as much as you have gems worth to buy with.
Yep.
These go back in my bag, and I draw 5.
Okay, so I will ante and buy a sale prices. I like it when things are on sale. I never pay retail.
He really doesn't.
No,
he never does.
I don't. And I'll go ahead and pick up an extra 1 gem. So these go on my discard along with the chips that I did not use. It's a good time to point out, it is now my draw phase, but since I have 3 chips in my gem pile, I actually get to draw 1 extra card. This is another one of those rules that's kind of difficult to remember unless you have your chips laid out a particular way that sparks your memory. If you have 3, 4, or 5 chips in your gem pile, you draw 1 extra chip. 6, 7, or 8 gems, you draw 2 extra. And if you have 9, you draw 3 extra for a total of 8.
Now the game comes with blank chips. They're probably intended in case you lose some chips or something like that to make up your own. This would have been a great option for them to add written this rule on so you always have in front of you to remember.
Yep. Just
a little tip. It's probably what I'm going to end up doing.
You can do that, or you can get a piece of notepaper and draw lines on it with numbers next to how many you draw. Something just to spark your memory so you don't forget.
Okay, so my hand isn't all that terrific right now. Do need an ante. I have a crash gem. I'm going to crash gem you, and then I get 1 gem worth of something to do. So
it's a good thing he used that to get the +1, or else he'd had to buy a wound.
And
okay, so first of my turn, I ante. I now, of course, have 6 chips in my hand, and I'm going to do something really cool. I'll show you how the combine chip works. First thing is to combine. It takes gems in your gem pile and combines them together. So I will take 4 1 gems and combine them into 1 4 gem. Now since it has this little arrow here, and it's a black arrow, that means I can do an extra action of any kind. These arrows, this means you can do another attack action, which is this red banner. This black arrow, of course, means you can do 2 of any action. And these colors, basically all the colors for the arrows match the banners that are on the chips. So I've combined that. I will now take my crash gem, take this 4 gem, and crash it. Means like you're shattering the gem. You're crashing the gem, it shatters. This 4 gem shatters into 4 1 gems, and I send those over to my opponent. The cool thing about crashing the 4 gem is that it cannot be reflected. If you crash a single gem or even a 2 or a 3 gem, you can use a crash gem to defend against that crash. That's what this little shield means. This is like an attack, this is a shield. So you can defend against a crash. But you cannot defend against a 4 gem crashing. So that gives me an extra 1. So there's 2, 3, 4. With 4, I will buy a 2 gem. I don't really want anything else at the moment, so that last 1 will essentially go to waste.
okay, so I'm going to ante, and I've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gems in my pile. I think I'm going to get a combos are hard. The interesting thing about this game is that they have a chip called combos are hard, because in this game combos are hard. Unlike other deck building games where they're designed to do multiple combos, you really don't have that option here in this game too much. It's a 20-minute game about. By the time you get a really good hand and deck going, the game's over.
You're right.
So this gives the option of basically trashing it later when I get it, and I can actually draw 2 of any chips in the bank, which will make it easier to build up your bag to be able to do combos and things like that.
Right. So basically for spending 6 on 1 turn, you can get 14 on the next turn. You can get 4 gems if you want. I pretty much only have one thing to do this turn, it seems, after anteing, of course. I've got 5. I will buy a 3 gem.
I've drawn at this point 7 chips. I've got 6 chips in my bank, so I get 7 chips to draw from my bag. I'm going to use Combine. Turn this into 4. Go again. Use my Crash Gem chip. Send that over to Adrian. Can't defend it. And at this point, I've got 1 for my Crash Gem, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I will buy 1-2 punch. Done.
Okay. So I will ante. I've got 7 in my gem pile. However, since you draw at the end of your turn, I don't draw extra chips yet, because I have already drawn my 5. Next turn, if I still have this many, then I'll draw extra chips. Really, the only thing I can do right now is basically the same thing that Dennis just did to me. So we'll just do a shortcut. And then I've got a total of 4. I'm going to buy another couple of sale prices. Hopefully I can get a good deal next time around. And then now, since I don't have 7 in my gem pile anymore, I will only draw 5.
Okay, so I'm going to trash my combos are hard, and then I'm going to take 2 combos are hard.
No, he's trying to develop some combos.
And then I've got 4 I can buy with, and I'm going to take another Combine. And I think I forgot to ante. So I'll ante.
So my turn, I will ante. Okay, so now I'm going to play this future side ability. I'm going to hide that, draw 2 more chips, and see if I can get some gems. Which I do. So I'm going to use my sail. Oh! I'll use this. This is the only action I can do since it doesn't have a arrow. So the only thing I can do is buy something for 3. It ends up being kind of crappy. Never played a gem essence before. Let's give that a shot.
Okay, I'm going to use Combine. Grab me a 4 gem. And then I've got big rocks, so I'm going to trash a 1 gem. Put a 2 in my hand. Gives me 5 to buy with.
I goofed up my draw. I was supposed to draw this one first. Continue.
Okay. And I'm going to buy a Crash Gem. And I'm done.
Okay, so I'm going to exchange a chip in my hand with a puzzle chip from my discard pile. It gives me 1 extra action to play something with the brown. So I'm going to do that. And bring this into my hand. I'm going to continue to use that to crash a gem over to Dennis.
No, he's not.
Oh, he reflected it back to me. So that goes back to me. Then I still have this action left. I'll use sale prices. So that gives me basically 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And with that, I will buy Combos Are Hard. And let's try a risky move.
Okay, I'm going to ante. And I have a feeling I've probably missed an ante or 2 throughout the game. But again, as we said before, it's easy to forget that that step in the game. And I've got Combos Are Hard. I'm going to grab a double Crash Gem. And another double Crash Gem. And I've also got a total of 3 gems to use. And I think I'm going to get a gem essence as well. And I'm done.
Okay. So I will Ante. I'm going to use this guy again. Draw my combine. And use my combine. So I got 5. So I will just use sale prices. And that gives me 2, 3, 4, 5. So with 5, I will buy another crash gem.
Okay, so I'm going to play an Ante. And I'll play 1-2 punch, which gives me 2 movements, or 2 actions. I'm going to use my stone wall, which is the main ability is to draw another chip out of my chip bag. Which didn't do what I wanted it to do, but it's okay. And I'm going to play my double crash. I'm going to send a 4 and a 1 over.
Ooh. Unfortunately, I can do nothing to prevent those. So now I am at 10.
And I have now 3. The double crash gem gives you 2 gems to add by, so I've got a total of 5. I'm going to get another 1-2 punch. I'm done.
Let's see if I can pull this off. I'm going to put this, so I'll draw that next time. Play this and draw 2.
So at this point, Adrian has 10 chips in his bank, or in his chip pile.
Correct.
So at this point, he has his action phase. If he can't get rid of one of those, I win the game.
Correct. So, my gamble has not paid off. My action phase is over, and once the action phase is over, end game goes into effect. I have 10 gems in my gem pile, and the only thing left to do is go back about 10 years and play Pogs.
Did you win?
I won.
Okay. I never played Pogs.
Oh yeah. So I actually never played either. We just kind of get a kick out of it. Rather reminiscent of Pogs.
Having the chips and everything. Yeah.
So anyway.